3, 2, 1.
Henshin and go, baby!
Hello guys, welcome to the very special review for you guys, and also this is going to be the full episode of a probably a weekly video blog thing I'm going to do called Henshin and Go Baby, for anyone who get that reference. Touche to you, any if that reference is only about a decade old. Anyway, so of course this is going to be made up of me looking at tokusatsu shows. For anyone who don't know, tokusatsu is pretty much Japanese superhero or Chinese superheroes or anything across the ocean into the Asian district superhero shows. And some of you might probably know this as not totally tied to it, but of course Power Ranger made it here, and also, I don't know how many of you might remember this, but for anyone who remember Kamen Dragon Knight, which held a couple years ago before it get cancelled, pretty much in the vein of this, but more Japanese. So every week I'm going to be reviewing episode, movie, whatever, but this time I am going to be looking at a video game for you guys for the DS, and I think also available on the PSP. I'm not totally sure about this. And of course, in the description I will put where you can find this game. Just bet to be paying a little bit of a penny if you want to get it legitimate. So of course this game I am looking at is all Kamen Rider Generation for the DS, and this is of course the original to a sequel that just now have came out about a day or two ago at the time of the recording, which I do got my hand on and I will cover. But it seemed to have a lot of hype around it for good reason. So I decided to go back and play the very first game and actually see what I'm getting into before I dive head on into the second game. And of course, Rider Generation, for anyone who do not know this, is based on the Kamen Rider series, which is a Japanese show that airs weekly over there for roughly around 50 to like 48 episodes, give or take, and a couple movies that tie all the universes in together, which started airing in 1971 and still airing to this day, with the new series getting ready to start in a month or so. So, now that's out of the way, the game of All Rider is pretty much what would happen if you take a Double Dragon style game and mix it with a RPG type of game. And on top of this, having the can of Kamen Rider. So the story of this is pretty much the normal routine, and of course this in Japanese, so some of it probably got lost in translation, but pretty much baddies show up in All Rider from the past 45 years, give or take, got to join together to defeat this guy, while defeating all the enemies and random mini-bosses and minions and so on from all the TV series. And by doing so, you will have a grand total of 28 players that you play as. So, what that equal is, once you end the game, you will be able to pick 2 characters to bring with you at any point. Each character can gain levels. Each of the levels will be boosting strength, stamina, defense, on top of unlocking more ability, might it be the special finisher moves, or any other random moves that they are known for. So, you have 2 characters, which is fantastic if you're doing a party leveling. And for 28 characters, it's mainly just the main riders, not so much secondary or villain riders here. But that's not totally too much of a bad thing for anyone who just want to play as, you know, say V1 or old or double or so on. So, once you actually get into the game, like I said, it's pretty much Double Dragon here. You do the normal heavy light attack while along with your special attack, and the only thing that actually makes the character feel really distant is the special attacks. And certain rider might have a little tweak, might it be from L juggling and so on, to give it a more unique flavor, which in return will make you interested into playing multiple characters to see what the distance is between them. But one of the main problems that come from that would be the last couple stages in the game. The last couple levels pretty much get extremely hard really fast. So what they can be made up of, a bet to be going back and doing a little bit of grinding to try to get some of your character up to snuff if you have been using random characters instead of one certain group of characters. But to make this a little more helpful is, of course, you'll be picking up coins within the game, which you can spend in a shop. Which in the shop, you will have the normal routine of potions and stuff to help boost your stats. Right along with each 28 rider will have one special weapon that you can buy within the shop, which will, of course, add any more so to the strength and stamina. And then on top of all of this, it really makes a very interesting, simple RPG mechanic of trying to level the characters and picking what characters suit your playstyle best, or just suit your favorite characters overall. But outside of the little grinding section that could possibly show up near the end, the game does have a couple other problems. One of the other main problems here is, of course, the keyframe animations. So, you will be getting into, say, a YYY combo system. Once you locked into, like, any type of animation that takes more than a half a second to go, you are pretty much stuck in that animation. So in return, if a character walks up behind you while you're in the middle of the combo, you cannot break it to escape him, he will just hit you and do more damage. So in return, you really have to think more about what you're going to do, because if you're not careful, you can get stuck in an animation and quickly get killed. But the only other really bad thing here would be, in certain sections of the game, it will pretty much become, I guess you could say, wannabe minigames, if you really want to call them that. It's pretty much made up of you, whoever your main character is in your party, will be on a level that glows, and you having to do pretty much one or two style games here. You will have the game where it's completely 2D, the level glowing, and you having to do platform jumping. Which in return, when you are stuck on that plane, the platforming is not exactly the best, mainly because the character jump at different heights. And in return, a little bit of frustration on the level when it's heavy platforming. And then the other style of the minigame is, of course, you going straight across again as it's glowing. But as you can do in a real game, your character can go in and out of full screen. So, in these levels, you be running along, and they will put pills or laser or chainsaw or whatever, and you having to go between the dimensions to try to avoid the items. Which isn't totally all that difficult, but in return, it can add a little bit of having to remember what you're doing, and a little bit of trial and error a little bit just to get through some of these levels. But on the upsides about the levels themselves, is there's not a lot here. You only have a total of 5 different areas you're going to be going through, with not that much interaction outside of a couple boxes here and there you can destroy to possibly get money or health or whatever. But on the levels themselves, what makes it a little more interesting is something, of course, for anyone who do not speak Japanese, you're going to be needing a fact kill, which each level have a challenge. Might it be, beat a enemy in 20 seconds using a technique, or beat a character with a certain character, with a certain item, or any randomness toward in there, like using character in sync with each other. So, if you want to do these challenges, you're going to be looking at a fact for this. But it's not totally that big of a deal, because most of these challenges are not all that difficult. So, just depending on the fact you find actually explain them properly. But from doing these, you will unlock money or more characters. Since only about 3 characters that are actually locked behind challenges, most of these challenges are just unlocking more money or item for your characters overall. Because when you go through the game, you will be unlocking characters pretty much every time you beat a level. You will get 1 to 2 characters. And in certain areas, you will get halfway through the area, you will meet a rider, and he will ask you to join your party, which you can say, okay, join, and he will put your second party member, or you can decline them, or you can just take control of them and have them become your new main rider overall. And then also in the level sense, each level have up to 4 difficulties: easy, medium, hard, and extra hard. Which, as you defeat them, you will also have more options on unlocking more characters. So in return, this game can be beaten in about 4 to 5 hours, but it can easily turn into way more than that if you want to do a completionist. of it. So overall, for anyone who do not speak Japanese, don't worry. This game, you can pretty much go into it and just play it. Outside of the questing structure, you're not really going to be needing any type of wiki or anything outside of that. And for anyone who is a fan of the Kamen Rider series, I can't highly recommend this enough. This is a fun, straight up beat 'em up, which let you play as the characters you want to play as and do the technique they want to do. And for anyone who's not a Kamen Rider fan, like I just said, this is a fantastic beat 'em up. So I can highly recommend this, but just know it is some shortcomings in this. So, to next time, if you want to go actually watch my review with gameplay and so on, feel free to by probably be in the link underneath here, or just go to extraplay.info and it should be up on the main page at the time of the recording. And yeah, check out the podcast. You can email me at troy@extraplay.info if you want me to review a certain show, game, or whatever might be tokusatsu related. And yeah, to next time, keep on morphing, keep on fighting, and I am off. Henshin to go-go, baby.